Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Autotask webinar, Ramp Up Your IT Services Sales. And we're going to talk today about integrating QuoteWerks with Autotask. My name is Richard Coyne. I'll be in the background for you guys, helping you out along the way. And with us today, we got a great cast. Len DiCostanzo, Senior VP of Community and Business Development here at Autotask, going to share some highlights about how to adjust your services and your offerings to really align with what your clients and prospects need. We've got Brian Laufer, VP of QuoteWerks, great product that integrates with Autotask. Going to see about that integration later on in the presentation. And always happy and always excited to be joined by one of our great partners, Tom Clancy, not the author, VP of Valiant Technology based out of New York City. Going to talk to you a little bit about his experience with Autotask and QuoteWerks and how he's used them successfully to build his business. Now, today's webinar is being viewed by a Cisco WEBEX, and if you guys are experiencing any technical issues, please notify me. Get a hold of me via the chat box at the right-hand side of your screen. And any questions you have for our panelists along the way, please put those in the Q&A box at the bottom right-hand side of your screen. There will be a Q&A session at the conclusion of the presentation, but if it makes sense, we'll pop right in there and ask the question at the time. We want to make sure that this session is valuable to you guys. And with that being said, today's webinar is being recorded. I know a lot of you guys are going to possibly want to share this back with other members of your team. So go check out www.autotask.com. You can see under the Resources tab right there, view an on-demand webinar. A lot of great content down there, business building content, integration content. A lot of good stuff for you and your business, so check that out over at autotask.com. And also, there is going to be a post-webinar survey. We want to make sure that you guys are getting the best value that you can for the hour that you gave us. So we really do appreciate your participation and your feedback there. Really important for us to know how you thought the session went. So with that, I don't want to take any more time. I want to get us up and get us running with Ramp Up Your IT Services Sales, integrating QuoteWerks with Autotask. Remind everyone that we have Len DiCostanzo, Senior VP of Community and Business Development at Autotask, Tom Clancy, VP of Valiant Technology, joining us as our joint partner and special guest, and Brian Laufer, VP over at QuoteWerks. But anyways, now I'm going to turn it over and welcome Len.
Hey, Rich. Thanks a lot for getting us to, again, another fantastic webinar. I am just going to start my little slideshow here and get to work. I'm going to ask you to let me know that you see it. Do you see my little slide? All good. Great. So, again, thanks to our friends Tom and Brian. Guys, thanks for joining us. Tom, how's your day going in New York City?
It's going all right so far. Going all right.
Excellent. Brian, sunny Florida, all good?
Unfortunately, we're overcast today.
Yes, well, we've been overcast for a couple of days. We have a bunch of rain, so let's create some happiness in the audience. So I'm going to kick off today, guys, with a little bit of an agenda overview. I'll chat about evolving your business by building out a hybrid service catalog. And then we're going to jump to Brian, who's going to share how to ramp up your IT service sales, talking about the QuoteWerks solution as well as the integration between QuoteWerks and Autotask. And then Tom Clancy is going to share a little bit of his success, not only using both our products, but how it's helped drive his business. And then Rich will come back, share some special offers, and chair a Q&A, and you can ask your questions throughout the session. We'll try to answer it. Otherwise, we'll grab it at the end and get you some answers. So I'm going to start off here and share with you how to evolve your business with a hybrid service catalog. And it's real key, of course, as you're quoting your solution, to have a pretty solid service catalog. And we're going to talk about how to develop that. And then Brian, of course, will just share how you can take that catalog and quote out your client solutions. The goal for my session is to share insights on building that hybrid product and service catalog to lead to increased sales and profitability, and more importantly, align with the needs of your clients and your business. It's always hard to sell what your clients don't need, so it's very important to make sure you're building a catalog of offerings that will help your clients solve their business challenges and problems. And I'm going to achieve my goal today by sharing some insights. I'll start out with some best practices and standards you can look to as you build out your catalog. Most of you at some point have formed a catalog in some way, shape, or form, whether it's by standardizing on some quotes, perhaps using Excel. You certainly understand your solutions and the products and services that go into that solution. We'll talk a little bit about formalizing that process through some best practices, and then talk about how the products and services in your catalog work hand in hand to drive profitability and revenue, and then share some methodologies to get you started quickly defining your catalog, both your product and service catalog, and then more importantly, again, aligning that catalog with what I like to call the 4 critical stages to securing a client for life. So insight number 1 is all about best practices and standards, and really the number one best practice approach out there right now you should be looking at is ITIL. The ITIL best practice framework is really 5 books of common knowledge that we all have learned, me as a former solution provider, anyone out there delivering IT services, but ITIL has formulated 5 books and tried to standardize what we're all doing out there in some way, shape, or form so that you do have a tight process to follow. And book number 1 is all about service strategies. And here, as we're going to talk today about building that hybrid service catalog, is really where you start. It's all about planning the services that'll meet business objectives, both yours and your end client. Book number 2 then takes you into designing that service and building out your service objectives and targets so that you could begin to measure those targets as you're executing those services in the market. Book 3 is all about a service transition. How do you get those newly defined services into production? How many times have you tried to do something new for the first time for a new client and perhaps have not had as much success as when you're delivering a solution you do all the time? So it is all about service transition in book number 3 and how to ensure success as you're rolling out new services. And then book number 4, all service operations, the ongoing management of services to ensure objectives are met. Think about your managed services every month, every day, proactively delivering them. How do you execute those services, and how do you measure your execution and improve? And of course, book 5 does take you into continual service improvement, which is all about evaluating the services out in production and continually looking to improve the delivery of that service. The last thing you want to do is have your clients think you're not growing, you're not improving, and better service is always a great way to show you're on top of things. So best practices approach gets you there, and kind of leads me to this 5 top reasons you want to build a catalog. Why do you want to invest the time to understand what a hybrid catalog is all about and how to build one that really shows value? Well, another best practice is ITSM, or IT Service Management, and the catalog is really the linchpin for an IT service management approach. It really gives you an opportunity to take a look at your business and define what it is you're doing so that your organization knows what you offer. How many times might you have an engineer or some other billable or technical resource that might not be sure of what it is you're actually delivering for your clients? And perhaps it's just going to be a little bit easier for the sales team to sell because there's a defined list of services that you are defining in your catalog, and it's easy, of course, to then quote it and sell it. Another great reason that you should build a catalog is it helps you meet the needs and manage the expectations of your clients and your users. They can see a nice, easy to read list of services that you have out there. Perhaps they want to buy a new desktop, or they want to, solve a particular business problem. And if you've defined these services in an easy to read catalog, folks are going to love to buy it, and they're going to understand expectations, because when you define that service, you're going to list the metrics and the deliverables and the schedule and all the related items around that service, giving you that ability to manage expectations a little better, and ultimately lead to reason 5, an increase in client satisfaction, because if you know what you offer and you sell it right and your client knows what they're going to get and the end user understands the potential experience, they're going to be happy as you meet that need and deliver the service just as you said. And ultimately, services in your catalog, products and service in your catalog really help you understand where your revenue and profits are going to come from. You don't want to define services on the fly and try to figure out if you're going to generate some revenue, more importantly profit, from delivering a service that you're not sure just how long it's going to take to deliver. So a nice way to understand where your revenue and profits are going to come from. We're going to touch on each of these as we move through the session this afternoon. So Insight 2 will talk about how balancing product sales and services will help drive profitability and revenue. And we're talking here, of course, about evolving your catalog. Again, I mentioned you probably already have some form of a catalog, some form of products and services groupings that you're selling out there. And let's boil it down into these two catalog components. I'm going to talk a lot about products, and I look at products as things you are buying and reselling, whether it's hardware or software through distribution or direct from a vendor. I'm lumping cloud offerings now into a product category, because if a cloud offering is not yours and you're buying it from some vendor in the cloud and reselling it, it looks and smells just like a product. So let's look at it like a product. And perhaps partner offerings, something a peer of yours delivers that you don't. Maybe you're not into document management or cabling, and you have a peer that can do that for you and enable you to deliver a bigger and better solution and maintain account control. Again, it's all about getting a price or a cost for a product, marking it up, and rolling it out. And the second key component of your catalog is services, typically wrapped around those products. Certainly services can be standalone, such as a professional service, consulting delivered to understand a need, but typically those IT services are going to be wrapped around products, and your resources are delivering them. Again, they could be outsourced resources, but you're billing for time wrapped around products and delivering an integrated solution and delivering that product. So we're going to talk a lot about products and services, but they are umbrella terms for a bigger set of offerings. And ultimately, it is about driving revenue and keeping a client for a pretty long time. So what ends up happening, a product sale typically leads to service delivery, whether you've sold that product or not. Most IT service providers out there, if they're not pure consulting firms, they're going to be out there trying to understand what products are out on site, perhaps executing a remediation project of some sort to clean up an environment filled with different desktops, servers, laptops, and taking it over and bolting on managed services. So it would behoove you to make it nice and easy for your clients to not only buy and consume your service, make your prospects see what services you're offering, but more importantly, sell products as well. I hear a lot from folks who say they don't like to sell product. Well, if you're not selling the product, someone else is. So get your hands on a tool like QuoteWerks, build out some products in your catalog, and realize you can wrap lots of service around different types of products. And then when you're done, figure out what recurring set of services you can deliver to those devices that you just sold, and build a managed service offering that continually gives you that opportunity to send out a bill every month for services rendered, and you're not always out there trying to sell one more thing. You've already got a book of business, a book of clients, and you're delivering managed services. So really, why let clients buy products or services elsewhere? Whether you're purely a product organization or, we typically might say, a box pusher, figure out how to deliver service to that product, because other people are doing it. If you're on the service side of the business and you say you don't sell product, we'll take a look at product. And one of the other things I like to share with our customers and partners out there, prospects, is if you don't sell product, think about the cloud today. You might be selling what used to be a quote-unquote product, such as a server, but that server is now in the cloud. Look at IBM software. Look at Amazon Web Services. There's lots of infrastructure out there for sale in the cloud, and you're not really selling product, but you are building up your recurring revenue stream and your managed service contract to include other monthly recurring services, such as a cloud-based server or that virtual desktop infrastructure. So again, a great product and service approach. I call it the product and service continuum, and keep that account control, because if you don't sell product, someone else is, and if you're not servicing it, someone else is, and those someone else's may also do both of these product and service categories. So why services? We talked a lot about product. Product will drive services, but the services is what differentiates you from product vendors. It's all about adding value to products that may be sold by the box pushers, but you're going to sell those products as communication service as opposed to a router or a phone system, collaboration services as opposed to email and voicemail. So those very specific point solutions or products someone can just buy, a very commoditized product. But if you're selling a solution from those same vendors who sell us products, you're going to have a different time of it because you're delivering value by facilitating outcomes your clients want to achieve without ownership of costs and risks. And that's really why you exist as an IT service provider out there, or a solution provider, consultant, whatever you might call yourself, is because your clients don't want to deal with IT. They want to make buttons and sell buttons. It's up to you to build out that technology infrastructure to support business operations and generate that outcome, perhaps such as an easy-to-buy-from website or an infrastructure solution that drives efficiency for their internal quoting and ERP systems. So again, facilitate those outcomes and take on the cost and risk for your client, and that all comes from building a service catalog that helps your clients achieve their goals. So insight number 3, we talked about sharing a methodology to define products and services in your catalog, and will help you get started quickly. And again, you may already have products and services you're selling, but if you're adding something on board, this will give you a nice little approach, and it really is about deciding on your product set and standardizing to get rolling. Which vendor are you going to work with? Which products in that vendor's series of products are you going to include? I used to be a solution provider, as I mentioned. I never did like when a vendor said to my reps via some kind of a mailing to sell this printer or that printer, because we had already picked a printer that was part of our solution offerings. And if you standardize your product set, you have a better chance of supporting it and having your team be educated on it. So pick a product set, standardize it, and find those vendors, distributors, suppliers, even your peers who can help you deliver those products to your client base. Whether it's financing options, it's always key to be able to present multiple financing options for your client. Oh, I'm always hearing about CapEx and OpEx, and you're always hearing about it. Does your client want to spend a lump sum of money at the end of the year to buy a new solution or a bunch of products with your services? Well, then make sure they can buy it that way. If they want to spend it over a 3-year lease, make sure you have that option available as well. So work with your suppliers and distributors to see what they can do to help you on financing options, and more importantly, make it easy for your company to present a quote to your end client. Make it easy for them to buy, not only from looking at a nice, easy-to-read quote with all the information right in front of them, but perhaps through some type of a storefront where they can go on in and click and choose from a product set that you've defined, not just anything. Don't let them go out to a Best Buy, for example, and buy some laptop and then ask you to support it. Put that laptop on your storefront. Put the products and services in a bundle that you want your clients to use because you're supporting them, and make it easy for them to buy, and totally look to simplify and automate the back office processes. You're going to hear from Brian in a little bit on just how you can make that happen on the product side. So we just talked a little bit about the product and a process to define them in your catalog. Now we've been obviously marrying service with product. So let's talk about how you might go about defining services a bit better. Again, you probably have a set of services you're delivering, but are they defined properly? Are they productized, perhaps with a part number? Do they have a price? Meaning, do you understand how long it takes to execute that service with a particular type of resource who costs you X amount of dollars per hour, so that you can take a 3-hour service, perhaps a service to set up a new desktop or a new mobile device, understand it's 3 times the hourly cost, and what are you going to mark that service up and sell it for? Do you want to generate a 30% profit? Do you want to double your cost and make 100% profit? It really is about productizing that service with a cost and a sell price and a nice little SKU, and of course a little bit of a description of what that service is going to do and benefit to your client, and of course perhaps some internal documentation to your engineering team on how to execute that service. And that all comes from establishing some service levels, perhaps some metrics and guidelines, how long it's going to take, perhaps the schedule, how long it's going to be before you can actually deliver that service, when do you expect it to be done, and include all that in some service level agreements. Perhaps develop those template statements of work, because as you develop your solution, your product and service catalog, you're going to come up with some standard solutions with some standard verbiage. And why recreate a statement of work or a proposal when you can have something already laid out and just turn it back on, perhaps change some quantities, a little tweaking here, and now you're out there delivering services all the time the same way and continually improving that service. And of course you might not have the resources, so as you develop your solution and you're all about network infrastructure, perhaps maybe you realize you need to deliver some cabling. Well, fill the gap in your cable delivery capabilities by finding a partner, and you do that by jumping in with folks like Tom Clancy and other peers perhaps in your network. Maybe there's a bunch of Autotask users out there. Find your Autotask friend at Autotask Community Live in Miami, June 8th to the 10th. Whoever you are, find your friends, go to shows, and of course make friends and see if those folks can build their components into your solution. And then again, make it easy to quote and manage the sale of your services, and make sure you're surveying your clients. Number one rule, if you're delivering a service, make sure your clients are happy. Last thing you want is a festering client, and one day they're not there anymore and you're wondering why. So survey your clients, because that is what's going to lead you to continual improvement, whether you want to improve a very specific service and make it work just a bit better, or do you want to go and educate some engineers who maybe aren't getting the best rating from your end user. So survey your clients when you deliver a service, and learn to deliver on continual service improvement. So now we've got our product and service catalog process going down. Now, what are these four critical stages I'm talking about here to secure your client for life? And that catalog of services is very key. Again, you're not going to know what you're going to sell. Your clients are going to know what they can buy and how their problems, their business problems, are going to be solved. And I always like to talk about four critical stages to securing that client for life. The last thing you want to do as a solution provider or service provider out there is spend a lot of time and energy winning some new clients, some new business, and not satisfying that client and having to start all over again with someone new without having that client you just won in the bag. So it all starts with a consultative sales approach and managing your account base in a various consultative way. And one of the things I like to share here is the capabilities of Autotask and how we're going to help you. And in that sales approach, we've got an integrated CRM where you can manage your accounts and contacts and gather all that institutional memory that you need to manage that account for the long haul. And as you're gathering info on a new prospect, put all that information in one place as you build your quotes using QuoteWerks and Autotask and manage your pipeline. So consultative sales and account management, certainly phase number one or critical stage number one, because you're going to win some business, hopefully a new solution, one of the solutions that you've standardized on, and you're going to go out there and deliver a network infrastructure solution, a new website, whatever it might be, and you need a solid project management tool to make that happen. And if you've earned the right in stage one to deliver this solution, you're going to deliver it on time and on budget, because that's critical stage number two, which leads you into that recurring managed service world where your clients are going to depend on you to support them going forward. And you're going to execute on your monthly meetings, perhaps quarterly business reviews, and continually deliver top service and evolve into that trusted advisor role or that IT department for your client. And these are those four critical stages where your catalog needs to be aligned. We're going to touch on each of these stages just a little bit more as we talk through each of the four stages following here. And the key is with an integrated solution and an integrated environment, mission-critical data is going to flow start to finish across those stages. And with API-based integrations into Autotask and the other solutions you have, you're going to make sure that third-party products, and specifically for us it's QuoteWerks on the consultative sales and account management side, and even on that trusted advisor side, where it's going to be real nice and easy for your clients to see your catalog and buy from it, and be your internal sales folks to quote it and sell it, and it's all integrated into Autotask in one complete solution. So great little overview here that we can drill down right now, because consultative selling is key. You've gone about building a product and service catalog that you know your clients need. Perhaps you've worked with clients over the many years, and I know for me, I work with a couple of construction clients. It was real easy to build a catalog of offerings for that type of a vertical. So I'd go in as a consultant, and I'm sure you're doing that as well. I love when people say this is a new fad, and that's consultative selling. But bottom line, solution providers and service providers hopefully have been doing it for a long time. We're just formalizing it here because you are coming in at a higher level as a consultant. You're showing an interest in their business. You're basically solution selling out there and making sure you understand their pain and recommending the right technology solution to support their business and to make that pain go away. And one thing you got to be careful of in a consultative sale is, if you know the answer, make sure you're not giving that answer until you heard your client say they've got the pain that you know the answer to. And that's the beauty of consultative selling. You've been there before. You've got a great product and service catalog, and you're going to sell the right solution. And this is going to lead you to that CIO, or as I like to call it, a BTO, Business Technology Officer, or Chief Information Officer, that trusted advisor role that everybody talks about, which we just went through those nice 4 critical stages that lead you there. And once you're in that consultative selling mode, it's all about selling solutions. I like to package them up as a solution set, and that's typically driven by your core capabilities and certainly the market or your client needs. Like I said, it's hard to sell what your client doesn't need. So if you're focused on a vertical, and I'll just pick on construction again because that's where we had a little specialty, I understood that perhaps producing a quote, an estimate in the construction world was pretty difficult, and we found a fantastic online quoting tool where you can take a nice e-size drawing, scan it in, and digitally build a quote that definitely saved them anywhere from hours to days of quoting, depending on whether it was a $100,000 project or a $30 million project. It's all about what your client ends up needing, and how do you efficiently get out there and recommend the products and services that your client's going to need to solve the solution. And in our world, is it an on-prem server? Is it a cloud-based server, desktops? It's all about having a variety of products in your catalog, that hybrid catalog we talked about, so your solution set can come from any set of products. As long as you've worked with them and understand that solution can be built, you're going to take that solution set and be able to identify what I like to call a one-time revenue opportunity, as well as those recurring revenue opportunities tied to your solution, which ultimately results in profit for your business. So think about a one-time revenue as that project in that critical stage number 2 that's going to lead you into that managed service world, that recurring service world, where you're delivering not only your managed services, but perhaps including those monthly cloud apps into your monthly bill to your client. And it is ultimately about standardization. That's why you're defining a catalog to begin with, and those services and products in the catalog will comprise your solution and ultimately lead to that standardized solution delivery, making it easy for you to repeat the sale. I certainly can remember trying to be a solution provider that does everything and realizing I've never done document management, so why did I do that for this particular client? To retain account control? Well, I probably hurt my relationship by not delivering it on time and on budget and with the right results. Partner with someone else who can deliver the solutions you don't, but certainly build it into your catalog and understand how to measure success on your solution set. It's all about metrics, on time, on budget, how long is it supposed to take you to deliver it, how many days, weeks, or months, whatever it's going to be. Develop your metrics. We talked about it in your service catalog, and then measure it for continual improvement. And that solution set ultimately, again, leads into that next or third critical stage where you're providing ongoing support through your managed and cloud services, all wrapped around your solution set. And ultimately, when you define your solution, you better be figuring out what recurring services you can deliver against that solution and ultimately help keep that client for life, and you become that trusted advisor, that technology department for your SMB, or perhaps fill those gaps, and we'll touch on that in a second. But let's take a deeper dive, perhaps into the networking solution set and understand how it might affect the business. And here you see a networking solution set certainly includes products and services and very general terms here, but you're going to detail that stuff in your catalog. But any products, whether it's on-prem, hosted, or cloud, servers, desktop, laptops, you can see all the different types of products. I've heard so many different things in terms of numbers. How many products and services are in a typical solution? You guys know it. Could it be 10 vendor products? Could 10 vendors, and 40 products, including your own services? Lots of stuff goes into your solutions, and certainly it'd be nice to be able to quote them and present them nice and easy. And the ultimate thing you're going to see, a lot of times you'll hear folks talk about your business balance, which your percent product to services. Well, if your typical networking solution is $21,000 in product and $7,000 in service, or $28,000, you can see what your balance is. It's 75% product, 25% services. If you're out there now adding managed services to this solution, over time you're going to continually add managed services or service in the mix. So even though you're selling that same solution, that you're going to drive your managed service revenue to where your service mix to product mix ultimately drives service to be more of the mix, and ultimately leading to hopefully just a bit more profitability, and yourself looking at yourselves as either a managed service provider or a fantastic solution provider with a lot of service revenue. And ultimately those managed service contracts lead to better valuation, better profit, and perhaps gives you a bit more time on your hands to enjoy all of your hard work. So what is it about those managed services that makes it easy? Well, it's all about, again, bolting managed services onto your solution. Always like to share a few bundles to look at. And here you see a productized asset management SKU. Perhaps your end client just sees asset management in a description of that service as they look through your catalog, whether online or on paper, however it may be. But there's a whole bunch of services included in that bundle, and that's really your own internal IT service portfolio. Whether that asset management SKU includes you using your RMM, your remote monitoring and management tool, to monitor that device, your BDR, your backup disaster recovery tool to back it up, whether it's a managed print offering, do you include a monitor, a spare in that asset if it breaks, what's the warranty, do you include in that asset management bundle a new desktop or a virtual desktop in the cloud? But bundle your services, make it easy to buy. Here's a couple of other bundles customers are out there using, Autotask customers and general guys out there work with thousands of service providers every day, guys. So app management, are you going to package some apps and be able to install them and uninstall them remotely? What cloud-based apps are you going to include? What kind of reporting on those apps? Are you validating license compliance so they don't get in trouble from the big old vendors and lawyers who want to make sure that everybody's buying those licenses? A security bundle, patch management bundle, a maintenance bundle, a service desk bundle. And I'll always get a question when folks look at this slide. It's like, gee, Len, why do I need 6 bundles? And what I always share is make sure you bundle services and products in your bundle, in the bundle that you believe is going to solve the needs of your client, the capabilities of your business. Put all of these services into one bundle and sell it as a nice user bundle, perhaps. Bottom line, it's up to you to define your bundles, but more importantly, to define those services you're going to deliver and bolt on to each of your solutions that you have out there, and have a nice, easy place to define your service catalog. One of the key things about Autotask is all about service delivery, measurement service. define your services in Autotask, and what Brian will share with you is you can take those services into QuoteWerks, combine it with products, and deliver a solution set proposal that includes both products and services. And ultimately, you've now gone to that third critical stage of bolting on your managed services. You're now ascending into that trusted advisor role, that fourth critical stage, where you are now the IT department, the business technology officer or CIO for your client. And I would always say to my SMB clients, why did you think when I delivered my solution I should be out of here? Why, with my managed services being in there, do you think I shouldn't be here? Well, your accounting department never goes away. Your sales and marketing team is always there. Why should your IT department go away? Embed yourself into that client's organizational structure. I always like to call myself the business technology department, always tying the word business and technology together, and shoot to be that BTD for my SMB client. And more importantly, you might work with larger organizations with an IT department. You don't have to be the IT department. Just fill the gaps and embed yourself in some way, shape, or form into that IT department and get yourself into that trusted advisor role in that fourth critical stage, and you're well on your way to securing that client for life. So how do you get rolling? Read up on ITIL to apply best practices into your business, both in defining your catalog as well as delivering and measuring your services, and get started building or enhancing what I like to call your hybrid catalog, perhaps version 2. You probably got some semblance of one out there, and put those products and services in that catalog, define them well, productize them, how long it takes to deliver them, build those metrics around them, and make sure you have a solid pricing strategy. You can hit the Autotask website. We got a great pricing webinar you can look at, and then build and maintain those vendor and distributor relationships, those peer relationships that enable you to deliver those solutions to your client, and make sure that catalog you build is aligned so you can secure a client for life, and make sure you got the right tools and platforms to automate and scale your catalog sales and service delivery and lead to that revenue and profitability you're looking for, which is going to get me to Rich, who's going to introduce our friend Brian Laufer from QuoteWerks. And thanks a lot for listening in.
Yeah, thank you, Len. And guys, I want to keep us moving here, but a lot of the stuff that Len shared now, we're going to try and make a little bit more real for you, show you with the QuoteWerks side how we integrate this in. So I want to just turn it over, introduce Brian Laufer, VP at QuoteWerks. He's going to talk to you about ramping up your IT services sales and continuing the conversation with integrating QuoteWerks with Autotask. Welcome, Brian.
Thank you very much, Rich. And thank you for that great content there, Len. And Rich, it looks like you just need to give me access to be able to share my desktop here.
Yeah, Rich. There you go.
Perfect. I promise I'm not going to have a ton of slides here, but I just want to give you a little bit of background on QuoteWerks itself, and then we'll go into a full demo showing you how QuoteWerks integrates with Autotask in a very seamless way. So QuoteWerks was founded in 1993, and the reason that I can say that QuoteWerks knows VARs, MSPs, and integrators is because we came from your space. We were solution providers ourselves, both the president of the company and myself. They came basically looking for a solution that didn't exist, integrating with different distributors, be able to create a professional-looking quote to our customers. And the keys to our success really are three areas. One, our integrations, obviously with Autotask, but also with accounting solutions like QuickBooks and Peachtree, and also with those distributors as well, whether they be traditional product distributors or cloud distributors as well. And then we're also affordable as well, because we were solution providers ourselves. We know what it takes to get an ROI out of a solution that we're purchasing. So we want to make sure that we are that affordable solution, whether you're a one-person shop or a 50-person MSP. And then it comes to support. With QuoteWerks, you don't have to send in an email to create a support ticket and hope that somebody returns your call or your email. We're available. You can pick up the phone, give us a call. We're real people. If you have questions, just ask. And then we're a hybrid cloud solution. So QuoteWerks itself is an on-prem quoting solution, but with Quote Valet, we bring quoting into the cloud, and we'll talk about that later on here. And in QuoteWerks itself, we are a software company. We're not a services company. We know in order for us to be able to get you guys to purchase maintenance, we need to provide you with solutions that you need. And that's what fuels our development. We're not going to upsell you on services that you don't need, and they're not going to be required. And we have over 70,000 users in over 101 countries. And for those reasons, we truly are the market-leading sales quoting and proposal solution. So before QuoteWerks, a lot of people that come to us, they're using like Word or Excel or maybe QuickBooks or even their CRM or PSA to create their quotes, which created a lot of manual entry, copying and pasting from distributor websites, maybe Amazon or CDW, all of which creating costly mistakes because, if they're using Word or Excel, they're going to have to create formulas, and we all know when you're copying and pasting Excel, formulas are easy to overwrite. And then the key there also is keeping salespeople out of accounting software. And I think everybody here can agree that we don't want our salespeople in our accounting software. And then also to automate their existing processes and utilize their existing systems better. So if you're using Autotask right now, how effectively are you using the opportunities or quotes within Autotask? With QuoteWerks, we're going to help automate that process so your salespeople create those opportunities, and those opportunities are always up to date. So basically, anybody that sells products or services, which means any VAR or MSP, should be using QuoteWerks. As far as our Autotask integration is concerned, it's continually evolving. And if you go to Community Live, I believe next month, you'll see a lot of changes that we have coming down the pipe, and you'll see some hints to some things here in my presentation here. But basically, we integrate with the contacts inside of Autotask. So you don't have to maintain two different contact databases. We're going to leverage what you have inside of Autotask. So if you make a change to an account or a contact inside of Autotask, that's going to flow seamlessly into QuoteWerks. Attachments from QuoteWerks flow up to that opportunity inside of Autotask as well. So like when you create a quote to a customer, send that PDF off, that PDF is automatically going to be up there inside of Autotask for you. And like I mentioned before, we're going to handle all of your opportunity management inside of Autotask. So your salespeople will not be forgetting to create those opportunities or what usually happens, updating those opportunities as your quotes are revised. So we're going to handle all of that for you so your pipeline is up to date and current. And then we're also going to handle your quotes inside of Autotask as well. So all of your products and services that you're quoting in QuoteWerks will go up into Autotask for you. So you have clear visibility across the board. And then again, we're going to leverage the products databases inside of Autotask as well, so you don't have to maintain separate databases. So whether your products, services, or labor inside of Autotask will flow seamlessly into QuoteWerks, and you'll see that in my live demo here. So whether you're quoting products, services, managed services, or even Haas items, QuoteWerks is going to be the solution for you. And if you do work with traditional distributors like D&H, Ingram Micro, Synex, and Tech Data, we're going to be able to handle the real-time price and availability, placing the online order with them, as well as tracking it all the way through, including serial numbers and tracking numbers when it leaves the warehouses. But we also work with 15 other distributors as well, and we're always adding more distributors. So if you don't see one of your distributors on this list, let us know. We'll add it. We don't charge you. We don't charge them. It's a win-win for the entire community if everybody is integrated. So our distributor integration is based off of having a cloud database. We have over 7 million products that include pictures and specs for those items, so you don't have to maintain that separate cloud database. And we've partnered with a number of different distributors out there, so we're actually maintaining a part locator service as well, because there's sometimes that cloud service that's shared across multiple industries does not have the part number for, say, Tech Data or Ingram Micro, but we've got that because of our partnership with the distributors. And then we're going to upsell with accessories. As Len had mentioned, I mean, the margin really isn't there like it used to be on the product side, but if you're adding more products that you can sell, you're going to make more money, and you're going to in turn get better margin with the distributors as well. So it's a win for everybody with those upsell. You're going to be able to get real-time price and availability from your distributor, so it's going to be very easy to compare across the board as far as what's going on. And then you're going to be able to get consumer prices as well from Amazon, CDW, Newegg, Provantage, and Staples. So one, you know what your customers might be buying it at, and it also gives you leverage if you're a smaller VAR out there. So you can basically use that as a leverage point when working with your distributors. And then purchasing sourcing, which is key, which a lot of people don't think about when they're evaluating solutions. But you may have quoted a server 2 weeks ago from Ingram Micro, and you go ahead and move forward. The customer wants to move forward with that order. Well, a lot of things happen in 2 weeks. Ingram Micro may not have that item in stock anymore. So right on the fly, before you place that order with the distribution, you can switch it to Tech Data. We make it very seamless for you on that part. And then we make, like I said, making it easy to place those electronic orders, as well as tracking them. So you get the serial number before it arrives at your location. You get the tracking numbers from each of the from each distribution point, so you see all of that. So you see all of the warehouses, when it ships, what the status is, and all of that does flow into accounting as well. So with Quote Valet, we bring you a hybrid cloud solution. With that, you can create interactive quotes. You get notified every time a customer is selecting different options, and I'll show you how that works here in a moment. But what's key here, though, is you're not going to have to give them 5 different revisions of the quote. You can give them one page to go to, and they can select what options you want to give them. You know when quotes are viewed, which is huge, because if you send a quote to a customer, it's been 2 weeks, they haven't looked at it yet, you know you need to follow up with them and find out what's going on. Likewise, if they viewed the quote 5 times today, you know that. You know to pick up the phone and say, hey, how's it going? And basically leading to the closure of that sale. And then when that sale does close, we're going to make it very easy to collect your credit card payments as well. And we work with over 80 different payment gateways, so you're not going to have to switch gateways or anything like that. And you're not going to have to track down payment either. And then with Quote Valet, we have a shopping cart, which leads into what Len was saying with having that catalog. And as a trusted advisor, you can give your customer basically the products and services that you want to have them order from, and it makes it a very easy interface for them to work with. And then with Quote Valet Web, we make it very easy from your laptop, tablet, or even phone to see what the status of your quotes are. So you can see how many times people are viewing quotes, what your sales team is doing. You can make it very easy to, when you're out of the office, like myself and even Len, when you're out on trade shows, you know what's going on with your sales team. It's huge. And then with mobile, we make it very easy to create a very simple managed services quote on your tablet or your laptop while you're working in front of the client as well. And then handling peer reviews and approvals as well. So with QuoteWerks, we do more than just creating the quote. We're going to handle product sourcing, whether that's from distribution, from your own product catalogs, or your own services. We're going to make it very easy for you to create and update your opportunities, again, making sure your pipeline is up to date. Delivering that quote is either a PDF or that interactive Quote Valet quote, and then handling that revision process. I mean, as much as I'd like to see it happen, the first time you give a quote to a customer isn't necessarily the one that they're going to move forward with, so we make it very easy to handle that revision process, again, updating the opportunities inside of Autotask for you. And then when that customer accepts, we're going to make it very easy to win that opportunity, including receiving payment and winning it inside of Autotask for you. And then like we talked about, when it comes to winning that op, we have to go ahead and place the order with distribution. But a lot of things happen. So we make it very easy to handle stock and price changes, as well as negotiated pricing that you may have with your distribution as well, and placing that online order all the way through creating POs, whether that be in QuickBooks, Peachtree, or our Autotask integration, which is coming soon on the PO side, which we're really excited about and trying to get done before Community Live. And then tracking that order all the way through delivery and fulfillment. So for all those reasons, if you're not familiar with QuoteWerks, I hope you understand or you've seen now that QuoteWerks is a one-time purchase. We're turnkey. We offer phone support. We're current licensed. We've been in the market for a long time. We've got over 70,000 users. We do offer professional services, but you can use QuoteWerks right out of the gate without using those services. And we do offer a money-back guarantee as well. So all of that being said, I'm going to do a very quick demo with QuoteWerks and Autotask. It's maybe a customer looking for a new laptop. We're going to utilize products from our product catalog, as well as using the products we have up in Autotask as well. So we're just going to do, again, a very simple quote, and we'll go ahead and do a search for a laptop. And as you can see, it's very quick and easy to create a quote with QuoteWerks here. And I'm going to go ahead and get pricing and availability from my distributors here. If you only work with, say, Ingram and Tech Data, those are the only disties that would show up here. And we can see availability here. Let's go ahead and add our laptop here. If we wanted to, we could see pricing from CDW, Newegg, Amazon, Provantage, and Staples as well. Let's go ahead and upsell our client as well here. And maybe we'll give them some options as far as different docking stations that are available. And as you can see, we make it very easy to see who has the lowest cost with availability with that green indication there. Let's go ahead and add a couple more things here. Maybe give them an option between a docking station and a port replicator. And then lastly, let's go ahead and add a monitor for that port replicator here. So as you can see, it's very easy to add products. So let's talk about adding some services. So we have access to the full Autotask services catalog. So let's go ahead and get some laptop monitoring here. And we'll go ahead and add that under our services. So if we go over here now, we've broken it down. We're showing that we have a laptop and we have our docking station with our replicator and our monitor. Let's go ahead and give the option for the customer to select which docking station or port replicator they want. It's going to be very easy to make this change here. And then we'll make it so that the monitor itself is actually optional, but we'll include it by default. So as you can see, we make it very easy. Again, we can see what our cost is, what our extended price is, and as well as what our profit would be on this document. So let's go ahead and save this. We're going to create our sales opportunity as well as our quote. We'll go ahead and click on OK. If we wanted to, we can link to an existing opportunity that was already created, maybe before you created the quote for the customer. And then we're going to create the actual quote itself. Again, so inside of Autotask, we can see all the item information that's on this quote. So now, from within QuoteWerks itself, we make it very easy to integrate with, to move back and forth between Autotask and QuoteWerks here. I can click on this button here. It's going to actually take me to the contact inside of Autotask here. We'll go to My Opportunities. Here's that laptop that we just created. Here's my op. And if I go over to my quote items here, we can see we've got my service item as well as my laptop and my different options that I was quoting as well. So now let's go back over to QuoteWerks. Let's see what the customer would see. Make it very easy to deliver that quote to the customer. We'll go ahead and upload this to Quote Valet. And with that, basically, this is the URL that the customer would see. So basically, instead of sending them a PDF file, which easily gets stripped out via spam or whatnot, we send them to this web page. They're going to be able to very easily select what options they want, which if they want the docking station or the port replicator, you can see it's either or. You could give them a none option if you'd like. They can uncheck the monitor if they'd like to. And then they can update the quote. They can even electronically sign and accept as well. So if I wanted to have the customer sign, they can do that as well. So from there, I would get notified every time the customer viewed the quote, every time they were making those changes, when they accepted the quote, and then from there, when they viewed the payment page, and then from there, it would win the op for me inside of Autotask. So that was a very quick overview. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this. I'm very looking forward to hearing from Tom here in just a moment.
Great, Brian. Thank you very much for that. And guys, as I now pull back and we're going to bring in Tom Clancy in just a moment. I want to say thank you to Brian for that. And Tom Clancy is a CCP at Autotask, and Tom is a person that we always reach out to when we want to get some feedback on our product, as well as connect him up with different people like yourselves out there on the call. And there's some exciting things that he's got involved with around the CCP program and helping people be more successful with the solutions that they actually have chosen to work with. But right now I just want to introduce Tom. Welcome, Tom.
Well, hey, how are you guys? Thanks for having me on the call. Great to see you guys presenting, because even though I currently use QuoteWerks, I actually just picked up a couple of quick little tips of how to use it even better, which is great. Like Brian pointed out, it is totally turnkey right out of the box, and it's very tempting as a tech to just jump in and grab something and start using it without actually, necessarily reading the manual. So it was like, hey, look at that. Oh, I didn't know that feature was there, but that's sort of how it works. So, ultimately, jumping right in with time being a factor here, I will just say that the integrated solution benefits are really clear. These 5 bullets sort of tell the story. The picture there tells the 1,000 words of what my quoting experience was like before I had QuoteWerks. I wore out my Control-C and V keys, diving into the Ingram website, finding a product, copying, bringing it over either to my custom FileMaker database that I was using for quoting or to Excel spreadsheets. I was able to make quotes for my customers, but it was a manual process, and it had no real-time visibility. It was really easy for me to forget to grab the serial number after I had shipped it, which meant that the serial number wasn't on the invoice, which meant that the vendors might not honor the warranty because who knows what serial number's there. So it was a real pain in the ass. Frankly, pardon my French, but truly, without the integration, it was a real royal pain because it was all copy and paste. It was all Excel. It was all just a collection of individual and independent files that made my life really, really difficult. Now I have everything from the pricing to the available stock to what the shipping number is to when it's going to be there, when it's got delivered. It can all get visible to me, and it's visible to my customers, which is really tremendous. From the automation side, like Brian showed you, the automated integration with Autotask is tremendous. Make a new quote, that automatically creates the opportunity. Embed the quote, that embeds the quote in Autotask so that I may have some people that are on the quoting side of my business in terms of sales. They're only going to be working within QuoteWerks and only within 1 or 2 modules within Autotask. But the bosses of the company, like myself and my business partners, we want to look and see what the forecast is showing. What do we have as current open opportunities? What do we have coming down the pike? And being able to see the details. I don't want to have to dive into QuoteWerks if I don't need to. I want to be able to see it in Autotask terms, and see those dollars forecasted out, see the activity of my salespeople. And I can do that here because of the way that these things are really tied together. And then not just automation and integration with Autotask, but also with my finance, with QuickBooks. I'm getting this quote from quote to PO to order, and it's all automatically pushing down to my QuickBooks, so I can get that aspect as well, and then get paid directly through my credit card gateway that I have established with Intuit, and get the customer a copy of their paid invoice and everything, and there's just so much less human interaction happening. As I mentioned, with regards to the opportunities, it's really, really easy for me to create and associate opportunities. I can create multiple quotes. I can create revisions and have it sort of affiliate and stay tied together. And I can look from a 10,000-foot view as an owner or a 500-foot view as a sales group director, sort of what's going on within the business. It's really pretty tremendous that these things can tie together, give me the speed and flexibility that I need. To see what's coming up in the forecast, to see what's coming up with regards to what notes my customers are adding. Again, the Quote Valet, as soon as they click on it, I'll get a text message or an email that'll just say, hey, first look, they've taken a look at it. Customer puts a comment on there, hey, is there anything better you can do on price? I'm immediately getting that. And my favorite feature, when the customer accepts the quote, I get a text that says, customer has accepted the quote. And that's the sort of text that I'm willing to get rather than the random, question about where I left the remote control by my wife. I much prefer to get the text that says that I just made a couple of bucks. Quote Valet, my favorite feature of that, it may not necessarily be really apparent, but from a political CYA aspect, before I had QuoteWerks, I had a lot of customers that would approve quotes and say, yes, this is good to go. and I would order equipment and ship it, and then when the finance person actually saw the bill, the finance person says, you know what, who approved this? Show me the proof that they approved it. And now I've got to deal with a situation where I got verbal approval over the phone from someone that shouldn't have given me verbal approval, but they did. I'm operating off of that verbal approval, and I have nothing to cover my butt. Now I'm faced with having to call my vendor pretty sheepish and try to return a $7,000 server. It's happened. And with Quote Valet now, at the very least, I can foist the responsibility back onto the client and say, look, I'll return this thing, but you've got to pay the restocking fee, as opposed to, well, I'll just take it back because I guess you didn't say so. Not having that approval was a real nightmare for me. Sort of in general, with regards to the way that it integrates with Autotask and the beauty of the product in terms of being able to grab the pricing. I mean, Brian didn't necessarily show it, but it's really simple for you to grab pricing and compare from CDW, Newegg, Amazon, Staples, whomever. So I have a couple of clients that are notorious price shoppers. Before I send them any quote, I make sure that that quote has the best price, or at least as close to possible. So when the client calls me back and says, well, you know, I can get it on Amazon for $49, I can say, no, actually, you can get it at Amazon for $54. I looked at the Amazon pricing before I sent you the quote. That's why I quoted it for you at $54. You know, because customers lie. Everybody lies, in the words of Dr. House. But more important than the lying is just ultimately getting it so that there isn't that push-pull conflict. If they're going to waste time searching for pricing, try to give them the best price out of the gate, and QuoteWerks enables me to do that right away simply by showing me what the rest of the market is charging for this gear. The integration with that product library is pretty amazing, being able to grab everything from my Autotask library of services and products, my antivirus or my managed services or random, you know, hardware as a service packages that we put together, into the very specific this and that cable, this, that, or the other thing. It's really quite something. So I mean, that's sort of me and my success story in brief. I imagine that I will be more useful as a question and answer person because I've got the practical sort of I am using it experience.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Tom. And guys, Tom will be hanging out for a minute as well as Len and Brian, of course. I want to say thank you to Tom for just providing some insight from a real-world perspective on how these solutions really work together for him and for others out there. And guys, people like Tom, actually not people like Tom, Brian, and Len and myself are all going to be down in Miami June 8th to 10th at Autotask Community Live, where you'll get a real chance to come together and see how Autotask and QuoteWerks work together in a real full-day boot camp, full-day pre-day training, which you guys can see right there, where QuoteWerks is actually opening up that session. So any more information you guys want to find out about that, you guys will be able to connect with Brian. We'll have some information there. But AutotaskCommunityLive.com will get you guys all the information on how to get to the event. Connect with us on the social networks. You guys are there. We're there as well. And, guys, special offer from Autotask. If you guys aren't using our product right now, if you want to see what our solution can do for you, connect with Autotask right now. You can see what the offers are there. And if you are an Autotask user and you want to get more out of your Autotask investment, we're going to give you some percentages off professional services and some standard dashboards, advanced dashboard deals. But then also, guys, people like Tom, and Tom specifically as a CCP can be a person that you can reach out and contract with to really make sure that you guys are getting the power out of your investment. So check out the CCP, Certified Consulting Partner Program, on Autotask.com as well. You guys can find that. But email into sales@autotask.com. Let them know you were here today, and we'll get you guys connected up with the most appropriate office to make sure you guys get the information that you need. So with that, guys, now I am to the last slide here and everyone's contact information. And we had a question came in here from Ernst. It looks like Brian could probably answer this one. Does QuoteWerks integrate to Ingram and Tech Data in the Netherlands?
I believe that we integrate with Ingram. I'd have to verify on the Tech Data side. If we don't, basically all it takes is for you guys just shoot us an email letting us know that you want to see the integration. When it comes to both Ingram and Tech Data, whether it be in Europe or North America, it's very easy to add additional countries.
Great. And there was a question that had come in as well from David asking about Tom. Tom, does Tom have products in Autotask or use only QuoteWerks products?
I actually use both. Custom things or the products that we sell, whether they be a hardware as a service thing that's unique to us, our own sort of special sauce, that stuff's going to get yanked out of Autotask because that's what we're making our product catalog. To speak to what Len had said, we have a pretty comprehensive product catalog of custom things, whether they be monthly services or one-time purchases. And then when it comes to something that is kind of off the shelf, a copy of Microsoft Office or the like, that sort of thing is coming directly out of QuoteWerks integration with the distributors' available products.
Awesome. Thank you, Tom. And question from Rupert that just came in for Brian. Are there plans to turn QuoteWerks into a hosted service instead of a client software?
QuoteWerks itself will always be some form of a hybrid cloud solution. That being said, Rupert asked that question about 6 months.
That's a good tease right there from Brian. So, guys, continue to put in questions over the next minute. Right now I'm going to start to run through our panelists, get us out of here. We are 5 minutes over, and say any last final thoughts. But if you guys have any further questions, you also see everyone's contact information. A lot of great people that are happy to answer your questions. So, Len, anything you want to say as we start to wind down?
Just always like to congratulate folks. I think, you probably started it. I know I heard it once or twice, but certainly congratulate everybody for jumping in today. I know everybody's always busy working and trying to generate money, but we always like to give you an opportunity to work on your business and not in it. So also, look to join us at Autotask Community Live. We definitely want you there. Reach out to myself. I know Brian said he's got a pass. I even think Tom Clancy's got a few passes in his pocket.
I certainly do.
If you want to go. Yep, and we want you. It's a great venue, and look forward to seeing you there.
Awesome. Thanks, Len. And Tom, as he was just mentioning, as Len was just mentioning, anything you want to say to the crowd, talk about your CCP offering, something that you might be able to do on the way out, some next steps from you?
Well, ultimately, yes. I mean, as an Autotask certified consultant, there are service offerings that Autotask is working with me to offer to the Autotask community. If you find that you're not using some of the modules in Autotask as well, or you feel that some of the modules are, quote-unquote dumb or whatever, there may be just simply one of those cases of, like my experience with QuoteWerks, where maybe you didn't read the manual, and that's what the CCP program is really useful for. You can really work with a real-world expert, somebody that's been doing this. I've been running my business for 12 years, to learn both how to use Autotask great, but also just to look at your practice as a whole, everything from contracts to the PSA to the RMM to the billing to the procurement. I've done it all, and it's been really successful so far. I've got 5 or 6 really great consulting gigs that are under my belt at this point, and I think I've done some really great transformational work, and there's more to be had. So talk to your Autotask account manager to set up a Smart Step CCP engagement with me or one of my CCP peers, of which there are many around the world.
Sounds great, Tom. Thank you very much. And Brian, last panelist to kind of close us out, give us some final thoughts.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Len for giving us all that great content. I mean, that's some really good information there. And then also, as far as the Community Live is concerned, we are having that pre-day. It's a full day of training, and it's focused on integrating QuoteWerks with Autotask and how it's going to work in your environment. It's a great pre-day event. It's very inexpensive for what it is. It's $149, and we actually do have a buy one get one deal going on right now for that as well. And part of that pre-day is we actually will talk to you, find out if there's maybe some changes that we need to make in QuoteWerks to make you more efficient. I know in the last year I probably added 35 new features just from last year's pre-day event. So it's a great way for us to get feedback from you as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Brian, and we'll all certainly be down in Miami and hope you guys can join us down there. So with that, for Len DiCostanzo, Tom Clancy, Brian Laufer, and all of our great companies out there, I want to say good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Wherever you guys are coming from in the world today, we hope you stay profitable, and we hope to be working with you soon. Bye, everybody.